Saturday, March the 5th, Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. This is a street beef that has been going on since the dawn of time, and I've always questioned whether this was a little bit of a fake beef and they're actually still friends, because both fighters are really good at personas and both were quite straight-laced fighters in terms of personality until Conor McGregor came about, and basically then everyone decided, I need a shtick, I need an image, I need something. You know, I'm usually plays. I need a gimmick, I need something, I need to rile people in. I need to annoy people. And I'm pretty good at that as well. So for all them haters that say, you don't know shit about boxing and fighting, listen, I'm 62-11. If you can match me on predictions, then we may be able to have a coffee and a discussion. Until then, I'd say if you get 62 out of 62 guesses right, then you're not bad. You sort of know what you're talking about to an extent. Now, I'm not braggadocious whatsoever. However, I will say that when it comes to analysing and seeing, and most of the time, if I know the fighters, I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 I'm right, which is proof in the pudding. But off that, we don't want to talk about me. We want to talk about Masvidal and Covington. But you need a shtick, and that's in relation to it. You need something so people want to come back and say, and want to get you. And Masvidal and Covington have both won. We took 2 more with Masvidal. He had a 3-fight win streak, and since he's not been doing too gravy. But he has fought Kamaru Usman, and the same with Covington. So both of these fighters have lost big to Covington, to Usman. And you can size up how they both lost. One lost quite dramatically by a knockout and was drained in the first fight, so I don't really count that as a lot. I just count that as he took it on late notice. It shouldn't have even been sanctioned. I'd say that was more like a win for Masvidal, the first fight. The fact that he hung in there after cutting nearly, 200 pounds or something stupid. Your brain's not even there, so that should have never been sanctioned. It was. And I think Masvidal won the moral victory in that fight. In the second fight, he got absolutely knocked spark out, so there was nothing really he could say to debate that. So that fight showed a lot about how Masvidal was slick in that fight, and Covington in this fight, both fights with Usman, looked pretty stronger, looked more in control, looked like at times he could win any of those fights. There was no absolute overwhelming domination, but Usman always looked like he could turn it around. Usman, as in danger as he looked against Covington, you always thought he was just one step ahead in every round. But don't sleep on Covington. I never felt that with a Masvidal. He just had more presence, and apart from in the first fight where Masvidal did really well, but in the second, listen, it was just a knockout. So this one's hard to gauge. This one's a really tricky one to figure out, because I personally think, and this is just my opinion, so it doesn't mean that if I'm wrong about my prediction, I know nothing about UFC or boxing. That just means I'm wrong in my prediction. And likewise, if I go right, that just means I'm right in my prediction. So anyway, 62-11. But my prediction on this fight, I'm going to keep it quiet. I think Covington should have the fundamentals down, and the only thing going against Covington in this fight is he's recently fought Usman, and how much that took out of him, I always wonder. But Masvidal may have that cage rust, as they say, ring rust, cage rust, where he's not fought since he got knocked out. And of the two, I would say Covington did the best. Now, take Usman out of the equation and the rivalry and who would win in a street fight. Well, I think Masvidal would kill him in a street fight, possibly. But it's not a street fight, it's a cage fight. And wrestling is going to be absolutely massive in this fight. And the better wrestler is Colby Covington. And the more, I would say, the more accurate puncher and the more crisp of the two is Covington. Masvidal has that power. Masvidal has that slickness. But does Masvidal have that all grain discipline? He likes to freestyle a lot. And I'm not saying that Covington's going to catch him. I just think Covington's going to revert to old school wrestling when he is getting out punched on the feet, because Masvidal is slick. He will pose problems. He does them leg kicks. He will try and get in Covington's head. This is going to be a good fight, and it all comes down to who focuses. And I think the one who will focus more and not lose his rag and not sort of get drawn into the occasion is Covington. I've always felt he was. Now, who's the more genuine? I don't really care. That's just, both have personas. One's the Miami gangster, and the other is the all-American, Donald Trump loving, go get 'em, everybody. Kurt Angle style. So you've got Kurt Angle versus Scarface, and it's pretty much like that's what they had personas. Of the two, Masvidal's was more fun. It was easier to sort of cling on to that sort of, I won't say cholo, but that gangster, that essay, they're fighters in a cage. And I'm not saying they're not about it in real life, because I'm sure of the two Masvidal is. But off the old character persona, Grand Theft Auto, sort of, wrestling, whatever it is, customization of characters, post Conor McGregor, I will say that the winner of this fight will be Covington, because I just think he'll be the one who gets least drawn into the beef side of it. And I just feel he is the more fundamentally, I always use fundamentals, the more poised, the more focused. Masvidal's really slick, he's really swift on his feet, he has them kicks, but if it comes to wrestling, he's getting mauled, and I think Covington will utilise that. He couldn't against Usman, because Usman's a savage at wrestling, as well as a savage at everything else. But against Masvidal, I do feel like, overall, with the stamina, with the endurance, I feel like Covington wins this. Should it go a focus fight, if Covington loses his head and somehow he could get caught, but I don't see any flying knees, anything like that. There's not going to be anything like flying knees or anything like that in this fight. There's going to be no spinning back fist to knock Covington out. What we're relying on is Masvidal knocking Covington out. I don't see it. I don't see it whatsoever. I'm visualising it. I can't see it. I cannot see it. When you visualise and you see it, I can't see it. If Usman couldn't do it, or nobody else could, I don't see what Masvidal brings, unless it's just a little bit more slickness and a bit more activity on the feet with the kicks. Covington, Colby Covington, Colby C is going to win this fight. Maybe a few years ago I'd have said Masvidal when he just knocked out Ben Askren and beat Darren Till, because then he was a savage. But I just think the more sound fighter is Colby Covington, and he's proved that. His performances have always looked slightly better, and he's only lost to Usman. Masvidal's had a career of a lot of losses, which we forget. He had a 3-fight win streak, which was brilliant, but of the two, I'd say Covington's the most skilled, the better athlete. And Covington will win this fight. I don't know whether it's a knoppy. I think he's going to stop him in the wrestling department. Either that or a points decision. But Colby C, for me, is going to win. Definitely. He's going to beat Gamebred, unfortunately. So Colby C for the win. Stoppage, or it's going to be a submission or a stoppage. Peace. And tell me what you think, guys. If you disagree, I'm all good with that. You know, hashtag I don't know shit about fighting. I'm cool with that. Explain why, and then we can talk. And then peace. I'm out.